Hi, welcome to BrittKnitsOKC. Hopefully by the time you see this it will not have been almost a year since I posted. I'm going to edit, after I film this, I'm going to edit a video that I filmed a year ago, and I filmed a little intro to be like, sorry guys, I dropped the ball majorly. Anyway, this is a knitting podcast where I talk about knitting and yarn and craft stuff. I have not recorded in a very long time. Yeah, I kind of talk about that in the intro to the video that is hopefully now posted. We'll see. I got a new haircut. I went to England. I came back and have been working a lot. That's basically it. Been knitting a lot of things. Yeah, reading books, listening to audiobooks. Okay, let's just get into it before I babble my way into not recording again. So last time, I think the last video that I posted last year before I went quiet was a video about cardigans that I wanted to knit, and my plans for kind of like what I was gonna buy at DFW to knit those things. So I did buy some yarn for some cardigans, and I bought some yarn, and I already knitted some stuff. And I think I might have forgotten one thing. I'll have to look in my phone, but if I did, I have a picture of it, so we're good. Okay, so last year my goal was to knit some cardigans because I work in an office and it's cold all the time, and cardigans just work better. I can wear them over dresses. Maybe I can wear like tank tops and then just wear a cardigan all day long, and then when I go outside and it's 95 degrees, I can just take it off before I get to the car. They're good. They're good. Anyway, so I did buy some yarn for cardigans. The first thing I bought at DFW last year was this yarn from Les Garcons, and has a little drawing on it. It is BFL sock in Laurianne Sage Advice, and I also got some Sandnes Garn Tynn Silk Mohair in Dusty Light Gray to match it. I know the colors are not coming. There we go. Yeah, so this is like very minty green sage color, and I thought they looked well together, good together. I think I bought them from the Modern Skein. I honestly can't remember, but if you go into my Ravelry, it's there in my stash. And I got to meet Max and Vincent, and they were very nice. Yeah, and my plans for this is I'm going to knit a Whitmoor cardigan, and hopefully I'm going to start it soon, because I would like to, I really want to wear it. We're going to England again, and we're going to Paris this time for just an overnight trip, but my friend who used to live there said that it can get kind of chilly in the evenings. So I would like to make this before I go on the trip, but I honestly don't know if that's going to happen, because I am currently working on a blanket for my mother-in-law, and I started it I think in January, and it's not done yet, and I have to get it done by like October 1st, so we'll see. We'll see. And I've been like putting it off and knitting other things as well, which I shouldn't have done. But this is the Whitmoor Cardigan by Amy Loden, and I think this is one that I mentioned in the last video where I talked about what I wanted to buy. It has like this really nice like eyelet lace detail at the top. Gosh, this is not coming out well. There we go. Maybe you can see it there. Yeah, so this is definitely on the list. So I got this. This was the first thing I got at DFW. And then last year I really kind of like, In 2022, it was my first time going to a big yarn convention, and I kind of lost my mind a little bit, and I bought like way too much. It's all stuff that I still like and I still am going to use, but it was just a lot, and I was overwhelmed and excited, and I just bought too much. So last year I kind of like toned it back because I knew I was going to England and that I still wanted to go to yarn stores in England. This is really bugging me. This is why I don't wear my hair curly all the time. Anyway. Yeah, so I knew I was going to go to England, and I knew that I wanted to buy yarn in England that I didn't see here in stores a lot, so I didn't buy too much. Anyway, one of the other things I bought was this yarn from Treehouse Knits called First Flurries. It's on Spruce sock, which is 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon, and it has 463 yards in it, and it's this like purplish gray. That's kind of more the color, but it has, yeah, there we go, you can see all of the different colors in it. I just think it's so pretty. It kind of looks like dirty snow a little bit, which sounds bad, but nah, it's good. It's so pretty. I think I have plans for this yarn. I can't remember. So I'm gonna look in my Ravelry really quick and see. I should have kept my stash and my project list in different windows, but I did not. And I'm also sorry for the fan. It is probably over 100 degrees outside right now, and it's just not fun. It's not a fun time. Where is it? That was the year before. There it is. Yeah, I bought 4 of these, and I think that I have it. Oh, I'm gonna make a Fleuriste with this, which is by Sari Nordlund. It has, see if there's a close-up detail. It's this really beautiful cardigan with lace on the sleeves and lace on the front. You can't really see it. There we go. Maybe you can see that. I don't know. Yeah, it has buttons on it. Very pretty lace pattern with like little baubles too. It's hard to show. Yeah, so I'm definitely gonna make this soon, and I think this is fingering weight. It's 463. Yeah, this is definitely fingering weight yarn. So I should probably, I'm definitely gonna cast on another cardigan soon because I have a lot of yarn to make them, and I really need them at work. So I'm gonna do that soon. But that's Treehouse Knits. I believe she is the daughter-in-law of Tammy from A Chick That Knits, if I'm remembering correctly. But anyway, she's very nice. They're super nice. They helped me like find the exact yards, and I asked if the pattern would look good in this yarn, and they were like, yeah, I think so. You know, there'll be a little bit of contrast, but there's not like crazy different colors in here, so it should all like blend together really well. Anyway, yeah, so I got that, and then if you've watched my videos, I am kind of obsessed with Suburban Stitcher. I love all of their colors. I love everything. I got a yarn advent from them, I think not last year but the year before. Yeah, it wasn't last year, it was in 2022, and it's so beautiful. I have plans for it. I haven't used it yet, but anyway, so I had to buy something from Suburban Stitcher, and I thought maybe I would get a dark yarn so that I can use some of the minis from the advent to do like some fade color work on the front. So I got this sock yarn in the color Coal, and it's 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 460 yards. So I think I got 4 of these. It's just a really nice charcoal color. I think it's gonna look so good with color work, like faded color work. Anyway, so I got that to make something. I'm not sure if I have a plan for it yet. I think I might. Let me see if it's in here. I probably should have organized all of this beforehand, but we all know that I am not that organized. Oh, I do have a plan for it. I do have a plan. I'm gonna make another Rachel Illsley from Unwind Knitwear. I'm gonna make one of her sweaters with it. And it says that I'm going to use a Suburban stitcher sock from the Advent and the charcoal. And it looks like this. It has a beautiful color work on it. Oh, it's not coming out. There we go. Kind of. Ah! Yeah. It looks like snowflakes. So that's what I'm going to use that for. I haven't figured out which colors, but I think I have some really pretty like blues and icy whites maybe. That's what I think I'm going to go for with that one. And I finally did finish my other Rachel Illsley sweater that I started I think over a year ago. I finally did finish it and it fits really well and I love wearing it. It's just gotten like a little bit too hot here to wear it even inside. I did wear it this last week. I wore like a tank top sleeveless kind of shirt, and then I put that fingering weight sweater over it, and it was actually fine. I wore it most of the day. I think I only took it off like twice. Anyway, so then I was finished shopping. I was not going to buy anything else, and I think now I'm wondering if I bought this the last year in 2022. See, this is why you should film videos. No, I did buy it in 2023. Good. This is why I should film videos right when I'm meant to, instead of waiting almost a year. Anyway, okay, so last year at DFW, DanDoh Yarns had a mail problem where she had shipped herself, I think, a few crates of yarn, and they did not deliver them to the venue when they were supposed to. So she did not have any, well, she did have some yarn, obviously, because I bought some, but she only had like a few different things and her samples there. So right when we were hanging out on the last day, I think we were leaving, and we walked by her booth and we were talking to her and looking at the samples, and I tried one. She made me, but in a nice way. She was like, you should try this on, because I kept eyeing this one because it was so pretty. Lavender. It has lavender in it. So it's this color. I'll show you the actual yarn in a second. And it was in a kit to make a lily. Where is... It's not on here, but I know it's in my queue because I started it recently. Let me find the actual photo. It's Yumiko Alexander is the owner of DanDoh Yarns. It's like a boxy, yeah, it's a really boxy lace. All of her, or not, I shouldn't say all of them, most of her patterns are like this, where they're like boxy and flowy. It has a very pretty lily pattern on it. Let me see if I can. And I'm not showing you on my iPad because my iPad is dead right now. Of course it is, because of course it is. And you can put like long sleeves on it. I think I'm gonna do the shorter sleeves, but yeah. So she had the sample sitting there, and I was like, oh, that's so pretty, but I'm done buying yarn. I'm done buying yarn. But I couldn't help myself. So I did buy the kit, and I started making it, and this is kind of like when I feel like doing lace, I work on this. I'm not a monogamous knitter at all. Right now I've slowly been finishing. At one point I had like 9 whips going, and I don't really know why, to be honest. This is the beautiful lavender yarn, and of course when I block it, it will look so much better. But yeah, it's gonna look so pretty, and it's gonna be so comfortable to wear. It's the yarn is linen. I think it's 100% linen. Yeah, it is worsted weight yarn, so it says, and it's 100% linen, and it is like a little bit rough to work with, but I think it's all right. Like, I'm not doing it all at once, so it's not that big of a deal. And then I will show you. I also bought yarn from Wanderluck Fibers. This was my last purchase before I bought the DanDoh Yarn, because I bought some Wanderluck yarn the first time I went, and their colors are just so pretty. And then they had this one, and it was it's named after the building in Only Murders in the Building. That's the TV show. So I had to buy it because it's called the Arconia. And I almost immediately cast it on because it was my plain knitting for the trip to England. I'm trying to find the picture. Oh yeah, I took this picture. I was in my pajamas, but I was so excited that I had my husband take it anyway. So I made a cardigan, and I made the Felix cardigan by Amy Christoffers. And I made it out of Wanderluck fibers worsted in the Arconia. Yeah, so I should have buttoned. I'll just put it on. How about that? Because I don't have, I think I maybe have like a little bit of the skein left over. And this leads me into my England yarn, my yarn adventures during my England trip. Because yeah, it has this beautiful lace detail. I love it. I love it so much. I wear this multiple times a week to work, and I'm like, nobody noticed. Nobody noticed I'm wearing the same thing. But it's a cardigan, so like, who cares also? It fits really well. I wish this room is like, well, it's not short. There's the day bed is behind you. Well, behind the camera, not behind you, but yeah. It's kind of like shorter, but not too short. Yeah. Anyway, so this was my plain knitting for England, and I did not get to knit that much on the plane because it was delayed by quite a lot. It was delayed by a few hours because it kept getting pushed back. And actually I just looked down and realized that I have one more thing to talk about that is DFW related. So when we were there, I kept walking by the Miss Babs booth section, and I kept looking at this one yarn, but I think they didn't have the weight that I wanted in the yarn, and they didn't have the enough of the color. But I swear I looked at this yarn like 4 or 5 times. I like walked by and was like, ooh, pretty. And I have like a pink purple theme going lately. Yes, so I bought this yarn. I think the color is Cordovan. Kind of like, I think it's kind of like crow. I think that's what I might be mixing that up with a different word. Anyway, this is Intrepid worsted weight yarn, and it's 100% targy wool, and I just thought it was so pretty, like perfect purple tonal. And I do have plans for this one also. I think I'm gonna knit a I think I'm gonna knit another cardigan out of it. Let me check. I definitely could have planned this a lot better, huh? Anyway. Anyway. I should probably look up the yarn and then see if it's attached to a project. That would be the best thing to do. Here we go. Miss Babs, Intrepid. I don't have it tagged to a project, but I think I did have a specific plan for it. Why do I do this to myself? Oh no. It's in here somewhere, guys. Maybe I bought it to make the magnolia bloom. It certainly looks like maybe that's what the plan was. Anyway, I'll show you that one because I think, is that worsted? It says bulky, so probably, this was probably for the magnolia bloom, which has lace and baubles. We'll say that's what it's for. I'll figure it out eventually. So I ordered 6 skeins of this a little bit after DFW because I couldn't buy it there. Anyway. So back to the England trip. Our train. Wow. Our plane was delayed for, I think, like 2 or 3 times it was delayed. And you would think, you know, yeah, great knitting time. No, it was, we were supposed to get on the plane at like 9 o'clock at night, and we had left Oklahoma City, I think at like 10 or 11 in the morning. And then I think our first flight was like at 1, and maybe we got there around 3 or 4 to Chicago. Yeah, anyway, it was a very long day, and I had a plan, guys. I had a plan. I had a long flight. I think it's like 7, it's between 6 and 8 hours from Chicago to London O'Hare. No, I got that totally messed. From Chicago O'Hare to London Heathrow. It's like 6 to 8 hours. And we like to take the red eye. That way, the plan is to sleep, and then when we get to London, we're all like, hey, we had a good 8 hours of sleep, at least 7, you know, ready to go, ready to visit with family and go see stuff and not have to sleep half the day. But plans did not go. They did not go well. So we were delayed a few times. A bunch of people, I was very surprised, a bunch of people just like didn't go on the flight, which I don't understand because tickets are so expensive, and they were just like, I'm not going. Or they probably just like got a different flight. But I don't, is 2 to 3 hours gonna make that much of a difference, you know? I guess if you're in business or something, maybe it would. Anyway, I had this in my bag for plane knitting. I knit a few rows on the plane, and I knit in the car when we were driving around. Daniel drove because I obviously cannot. Well, I can't drive a stick, and I had never been to England before, so I wasn't used to the roads, the opposite sides of the road, and different cars and stuff like that. So I did not drive. Daniel drove the entire time, as he will this next time when we go. So this was plain knitting. I can't remember. I think I knit some of the is that raglan? Yeah, I knit some of the raglan on the plane. I knit a little bit in cars, and yeah, we went to London. His family lives in Buckinghamshire, so not far from London. We went into London a few different times while we were there. And so that brings me to the first shop that I visited. I visited 3 yarn shops while I was in England. I insisted on going to Loop in London, and we went there. It was very nice. I'm gonna be honest, I was a little bit disappointed in Loop because everyone's like, oh, Loop, London, yeah, so cool. It is a cool shop. It's very nice. It has 3 different levels, and they have stuff everywhere. It's very nice, but a lot of it honestly was yarn that I can get here. Like, I swear they had a whole, this is 2 shelves next to each other. I swear they had like an entire section like 4 feet wide full of Madeline Tosh, and I'm like, that's in Texas, you know, I can go there if I want to. So I had a really hard time finding yarn in Loop, but I did get this very pretty bag. I got a very pretty bag, and I got some Zakami, which I believe they are Scottish. I got some Surrey alpaca. So this is 74% baby Surrey alpaca and 26% silk lace weight, in the color oatmeal. I got 3 of these because I could only find 3 of them, and I don't know what I'm gonna do with this yet. There's this sheer kind of, you know, you put it over dresses and stuff, and it has short sleeves, and it's made with this stuff, but I have to see if I have enough of it. I'm throwing yarn around now. So yeah, that's kind of the color that it is. Maybe it'll, yeah. It's just a really light oatmeal color, and it's so soft. So soft. So I got this. This was the only yarn I bought at Loop, because I just had trouble finding yarn in there, which was fine. Like, if you live in London, it's great because then you can go get a bunch of American yarn. But I was on a mission to get some British yarn while I was in England. The other thing that I bought at Loop was these beautiful buttons that I put on my Felix. There's a little yellow bird in the middle. You can probably see that one pretty well now. This is like hard to do. Okay, there we go. It has flowers and leaves and a cute little bird. Yeah, so I got I think 5 buttons. Yeah. So that was what I got at Loop. And then we went to Devon to see some friends, to visit some friends, and we stayed 2 nights in Devon, and we stayed in a what do they call it? They call it a holiday park? Holiday park? Yeah, holiday park. So it's like if you want to take your kids and go stay somewhere for a week and have it not cost $1 bazillion, you can go stay in a holiday park. And they have mobile homes and cabins, and they're so close to the sea. Like, we could hear the waves from the sea from our little cabin. And I think I took video, and I will put video at the end of the England trip and pictures, maybe, because I took loads of pictures while I was there. I just did nothing with them when I came back. Yeah. So after we left Devon, while we were in Devon, we went to Torquay, which is spelled Torquay, and that is where Agatha Christie lived, and it was the cutest little like seaside town. And we had what do they call it? A cream tea, which is not just tea. It is tea, and the tea is very nice, but it's also scones with jam and clotted cream, and it was the best thing. It was so good, so good. I would be in trouble if I lived over there because I would want to go get a cream tea every single day. So after we left there, I you know, got on my phone, little sneaky yarn checking, just to see just to see if there was a shop nearby. And luckily Exeter, which I believe they have like a really famous university in Exeter, it's like right on the way out of there. So we stopped in Exeter, and we stopped at oh, I forgot about this. Wanderluck last year was giving out bags. I think this is from last year at DFW. Gave out little bags, which I really like. Like, you can carry your whole project in this. But when we were at Wool on the X, you guys, they're the nicest people. Like, I think Wool on the X was one of my favorite shops that I went to. They were so nice. They talked to my husband and I for like 2 hours. I browsed around the shop. They have classes there. I get emails from them now. They have classes every week that you can go in there and hang out. They have a lot of West Yorkshire spinners yarn, which I did buy. Anyway, they, like, when we left Exeter, I was like, I wish we lived here. Like, I want to move to Exeter, please. Like, please. Anyway, we got a bag with their logo on it. Adventures in Yarn, Wool on the X. It was so cute. I think I got video. I either got video or a picture of the outside of it. I think I did anyway. It's all kind of hazy now. So I got a bag, and I also got, one second, I forgot to grab this. Yes. I also got this pattern book that they made. They made this book. It's so cool. My husband actually bought me the bag and the book because I had just gone to DFW and bought yarn, and then I was buying yarn there too. It has this beautiful shawl in here, and I think they had more books, and yet they're pictured on the back. Just some pattern books that they put together. You know, their yarn community. So nice. They were the nicest people. Anyway, I got this pattern book. Oh, that's cute. I just noticed. But if I can find them again, they had pictures of little sheep. Yeah, it's like a sheep bunting. Look at that. So cute. I think I am gonna make that. Maybe I can make them like holiday themed, Christmas themed. Anyway. They were the nicest people. 100% go to Wool on the X. They were so sweet. While I was there, I got some West Yorkshire spinners, 100% British wool, and it's West Yorkshire spinners fleece, and it's Jacob. So I think it's Jacob wool. It's so, you guys, it still smells like sheep. And it is very rustic. I mean, like, but I have a Plotulopi sweater, and I wear it with just a bra underneath. Like, it doesn't bother me at all, luckily. It's so pretty. It's in this, like, gray color. Yeah, the color is light gray. And it's a DK weight yarn. Yeah, that's pretty true. It looks a little bit darker. Yeah, there we go. Yes. But I think I am going to make a cardigan out of this as well. I was in the shop, like, looking, and they were helping me find patterns, and I just can't. I know I've said it a million times now, but they were the sweetest people. And I kind of wish we were going back to Exeter just so I could go hang out with them again. Because that's how nice they were. Let me see. Fleuriste. I moved things around in my Ravelry, and now I don't know. Anyways, what have you all been up to in the past year? This is me now. I'm kind of scatterbrained and I'm feeling like I have energy right now, which is good. I didn't want to get like into it or anything, but take care of yourselves, man, because you know, life comes at you and it's exhausting. Okay, yes, I'm gonna make the Very Berry cardigan by Tatiana Uluchevis. I think I probably butchered her name. Nope, it's not gonna. I'll put it down below in the thing. But it's this like lace. This ring light is not doing me favors. There we go. It's like a all over lace front on it. They have this beautiful picture of a pink, like a mauve colored one. Yeah, I'm gonna make that with it. I should cast that on. Because if it's DK because I think most of them have mohair with it. Yeah, they do. Most of the things have mohair with them, but I thought that one made out of this like super rustic would be really nice. So that's what I'm gonna do with that. Yeah. And then we went, so we were on the X, we were chatting away, having a great time. Sad that we couldn't see these people every week at least. And all of a sudden they go, hey, you know Anna's shop is right down the street, right? And I was like, no, I didn't know there was another shop here. Anna who? And they were like, oh, Anna from Alongovac Anna. Her shop is right down the street. You don't even have to drive there. Like, you could walk. It's not that far. That's how close it is. And I was like, well, I'm definitely going to say hi to Anna. And I did. And this is another reason, like, I really want to move to Exeter. Like, I haven't mentioned it since then, but just looking back on it, I loved it so much. It was, you know, it's by the sea. It's really close to the sea. It was cooler there, kind of. I just loved everything about it that we saw. Anyway, so I met Anna from Alongovac Anna, and she was the nicest person. Her shop was so cute. It's on this little side street, and if I'm remembering correctly, the street is like kind of, you know, steep, and the sidewalk, it looked like, when you think like shop in Little English Village, little small English city, that's what it was. Like I think she had the outside painted black, and it had windows all in. If I'm remembering correctly, the shop was kind of like cornered differently on the street. Maybe it was just on the end of the street, and I'm thinking you could see the two sides of it. Anyway, it was so cute. Impeccably like thought through and organized, of course, because that is Anna's like brand. It's very chic and like cute and very curated, kind of. And I just remembered that I also have some stitch markers, but I don't know what bag they came in. They're on her website though. They're little tiny round stitch markers, and they have little flower on them. Anyway, I did buy some yarn. I bought this yarn. So I bought this one and this one to go together. And I know they look a lot like, I know they look a lot like this yarn. We're just gonna forget that. This is for a cardigan, and this is for a pullover type thing. So it's fine. It's fine. And this is in the color Jade. And it's 100% superwash merino, traceable, non-mulesed, reach standard yarn. And it's 50-gram balls. And I got a bunch of these. I think I got 6. I got 5 of these and 5 of these as well. And this one is the Jade Mohair. 72% fine kid mohair, 28% mulberry silk. Cruelty free. 25 grams. And 210 meters. So yeah, I bought these together. I mean, her labels are, everything about Anna and her shop are just like goals. It's not going to show you because they're white. Nope. Hey, maybe you can see them there. I don't know. Yeah, she was so nice. And we talked for about an hour. Yeah. I cannot recommend Wool in the X and a log blah. Sorry. This fan is blowing on me straight in my face. But it's needed because it's so hot outside. Yeah, their shops were so nice and they were such nice people. And I go to Exeter to buy yarn. It's great. You'll have a great day. So the other shop that we went to was in London. I think it's in Muswell Hill. I hope I said that correctly. And that I'm pronouncing it right and not just saying a complete wrong thing. I went to Slip Stitch London. And I have known about this shop since it opened because I used to listen to this podcast. I haven't listened to podcasts in a long time, like talking podcasts. But I used to listen to it, and I think it was called Rosie and Jessica's Day of Fun. So, don't play. Okay. Yeah, it's, you see, you can't see anything on here with this ring light and this phone. They're just not playing nice. Anyway, so they have this podcast called Rosie and Jessica's Day of Fun. And Rosie and Jessica are sisters, and they talk about all kinds of stuff. They talk about crafting and gardening and baking and all kinds of fun things. Anyway, Rosie opened a shop, and it's called Slip Stitch London. I'll put the stuff in the bottom. You should go visit them because they're so nice. They're such nice people, and their shop is so cute, and it's in this really cute neighborhood. I think it's in Muswell Hill. I think that's what it's called. Let me look on their Instagram really quick. They've been posting a lot lately because they're having some trouble with graffiti. I don't know if you call it graffiti defacement. I don't know. Yeah, it's in Muswell Hill. It says Muswell Hill's friendliest haberdashery. Yes, they have all kinds of stuff in there. Like, I think some sewing stuff. This is Rosie. I think it's Rosie. Yeah. They're so cool. Like, I love their shop too. Like, I would love to live there and to go visit them. Anyway, they have these stickers now. Yes. So, they have this sign that I believe says craft is for everyone, and some people don't like everyone to exist, so they have had some trouble. So go to their shop, go to their website. They're super nice people. You can't see this because of the stupid glare. Maybe you can, there we go. Yeah. Anyway, go to their shop. They're very nice. Rosie posts these little coffee chats, I think once a week. And I watch them even though I can't go. I can't go over there except, you know, whenever we're actually in England, which only happens, we're going to take our second trip this year. So I can't even say only happens once a year because it might not. Anyway, I bought some West Yorkshire spinners. roving yarn while I was there. And I know you're going to say roving, it's going to pill, you know, it's going to get worn down, whatever. I don't care. I don't care really. So I made the Sunday cardigan. I think this is the Sunday cardigan by Petite Knit. And it is, I'm putting this on right now. I actually might take this year as my like coat. Yeah, it's kind of cropped. That's the bottom. Fitted. It has a very nice design here. Yeah, this is much too, it's more like a coat here because, and unless there's ice outside, I'm not gonna be able to wear this very much. It's extremely warm, which is great. This is why it's a coat, guys. It's kind of a coat. So I have buttons for it, but they're not on there yet. They're not on there. And I think because I don't think I put buttonholes for it. I think they just fit through some of the ribbing or something. We'll see. If it doesn't close, it's not that big of a deal. But I made this out of West Yorkshire spinners. Let's look up the details. I think it's in my finished projects. Yeah, it is. Because even though I didn't put the buttons on it yet, I marked it 100% complete. Because why not? Where is it though? But where is it though? Here we go. And that's what my hair looks like, straight too. Which is how it is most of the time. Anyway, Sunday cardigan. Yeah, West Yorkshire Spinners Retreat Chunky Roving is what I use. And they do have like a lot of different colors. But I wanted a neutral that would match a lot of things. I think I wanted to buy black, but I don't think they had enough to make the size that I wanted. So I got this. Now I will say Slip Stitch carries very specific things. So they have a lot of, well, when I was in there last year, they had a lot of West Yorkshire spinners. They don't have like a huge selection of yarn, but I bet if you ask them, they might be able to order you something. They have a lot of little kits you can buy to like make little dolls and things like that. And I think they might have had some sewing accoutrement. And what else do they have in there? I can't remember. Not sure. Rosie wasn't in the shop that day, but I got to meet a very nice lady who I believe her husband is American, and that's how we got to talking. Because my husband, if you're new to this channel, my husband is English, and we got to talking because let me see if I can find. They put all these, oh, I didn't mean to play that. They put all these Barbies in the window of their shop this year. Anyway, so that was fun. I'm trying to find the names of some people who work there because they were so nice. I say that about everyone, don't I? They were so nice, but they were the nicest people. I don't know. Anyway, the person who we were talking to was the sweetest, and we were talking about, you know, living in different places and being from different places, and they were apparently on, now I'm blanking on what the show is called, The Great Sewing Bee, The Great British Sewing Bee, or something like that. Anyway, they were nice, they were sweet. Go in there, shop at that store, just because, if for no other reason, to support them and their cause for crafting to be super inclusive. So yeah, that was the last place that we went. We had like a free day toward the end where on these trips, well, we're going to take our second one, but on these trips we do a little bit of sightseeing because I had never been to England before, and I've never been to Paris. So we're gonna do a little bit of driving around, and we did drive up to West Yorkshire, West, I think it was West Yorkshire. Daniel's grandmother lives in Illsley, so we stayed the night in Illsley, and we hung out with his grandmother, who, let me tell you, this lady walks up and down the hill to town. She lives on the hill and walks down into town nearly every day, I think. And Daniel and I'm 38 now, so I think I was 37 at the time, and Daniel I think he's 41. And this woman is in her 80s, and we were walking up this hill, and she was like, "Are you all okay?" And we were like, "Uh-huh." It was rough. And she was wiping the floor with us in that regard. She was fine. She was absolutely fine. And we were like, "Oh my goodness, we don't walk this much or up hills or anything like that." It was pretty funny. But we had a lovely time. But I wanted to go to the West Yorkshire Spinners. I thought maybe they would have like a little storefront of some kind or something, but they didn't. Like, I think that we found where they might ship some of their stuff from, but they didn't have a storefront. Like, we drove into this parking lot, and Daniel was like, "No, I think it's in here." And I was like, "Daniel, I don't think you're supposed to go in there. Like, this is obviously a shipping area where, like, they load up, what do they call them? Not trolleys. Like, trucks. Trucks to, like, ship things." Yeah. But we did not go to West Yorkshire Spinners because I don't think you can. But we sure tried. We sure tried. We also went to Oxford. So on one of our other quiet days, we went to Oxford, and we went to, there's actually stuff falling out of here. I don't think that has to do with anything. Daniel wanted to go. We had a free day and we still had the car. So he wanted to go to Oxford, and the reason that he wanted to go to Oxford was to go to Ben's Cookies. It's a little bakery. The only thing I know about Oxford is Oxford University. So all of the schools that are in Oxford, that's all I know. And so I thought, oh, and we did. We walked around a bunch, and I took loads of pictures, and we ate at Pizza Express, which was very good. It was very good, and the building that it was in was very cool because it was, you know, old, because Oxford. And the buildings there were so beautiful. Like, I can't compare it to anything here because it doesn't look like anything here. But we went into the covered market, the Oxford covered market, because that's where Ben's Cookies is. Okay, and my husband, Mr. Cookie Monster, did not tell me that Ben's Cookies was in the Oxford covered market. He was like, "Oh, we'll park up the car here, and, you know, we'll walk this way. It's down this way." And I was like, "Okay, cool. We're just gonna go to Oxford to get cookies." So while we were there, we were walking around. So we go into the cover, and I was like, "Where are we going?" Because all of a sudden Daniel turns down this little thing that looks to me like an alley, and it wasn't. It's the covered market, the famous covered market that's been there since 1774. So I got this giant bag from the Oxford covered market, and it's huge. So this is what I bought in Oxford. I do not know if they have a store because I didn't have time to look. We did like walk around, and before we left, I insisted. I was like, I have to at least see the outside of the Bodleian Library, please. Like, we can just walk by. And then when we were there, people were like taking tours, and I was like, I want to take a tour of the Bodleian, please. But we didn't. Like, we didn't have time. We have to book things in advance, you know. And then I've since learned that I'm friends with one of my old professors on Facebook, and they were two of my professors actually, and they were in Oxford not too long ago, and they all kept posting like beautiful pictures. Oh, these things in Oxford, like here's the what do they call it? Like a garden, like a really beautiful like garden in Oxford. And I was like, I want to go to the garden. I didn't know there was a garden. It was the silliest, like, not planned trip to Oxford you've ever heard of in your life. And here's me, like, you know, I get on here and I talk about yarn and all of that kind of stuff, but I was very into school when I was a teenager, and very into, like, I was, like, the nerd who, like, wanted to wear uniforms and stuff like that, and, like, Oxford was, like, couldn't even imagine like going to Oxford, going to school. That was like the peak. Like, you have Harvard or whatever, and then there's Oxford though. Like, why would you settle for Harvard when you could go to Oxford? I couldn't, because, you know, I didn't grow up like that. I was lucky to go to college. So anyway, that was a little tangent. Yeah, but I went to the Oxford Covered Market. Anyway, this was supposed to be a short video, and I see that it's almost an hour long, and for that I apologize. But you finally got the DFW / England trip yarn haul. I was about to say fingers crossed. No, I will post this in the next few days. I don't have, oh, actually I do have one podcast recommendation. If you haven't checked out Yarn Flakes on YouTube, you totally should. She is in France. She's French. And let me look up, I think her name is Audrey. Audrey? Yes, her name is Audrey. She goes by Yarn Flakes. Let me make sure that's her channel name. Yarn Flakes, yes. It's yarn with a capital Y and then flakes with a capital F. And she is a knitwear designer and a podcaster. And I was trying to stop it where you could see her. Like there you can see her. That's Audrey. She's very nice. She does her podcast she does an English version and she does a French version. And I have been brushing up on my French. I have a minor in French, but I graduated college in 2008, and I have not forgotten it all. I figured out last week, I'm on a roll. I'm on a 1 week streak on Duolingo, and I thought that I would be starting out like almost at the beginning, and I am only like a level 1. What did they call it? They called it something specific. They tell you what it is in the local certifications. Where is it? Yeah, it's annoying at me right now because I haven't practiced yet today. So let's see, where am I? I'm at a 20. So it says my French score is 20. You are learning content aligned with the high A1 level of CEFR. So 20 to 30 in real life means you can chat a little if someone is patient and ready to help. So I'm not starting at the very beginning. And I I've only learned like 2 new words. So I think I'm actually probably higher than this, but that's where it started me out. It gives you a little quiz and tells you. Anyway, that was a tangent. I think I'm going to start listening to Aubrey's podcast in French, so that I can, for my 24 hours in Paris, I would like to be passively, you know, making an effort while I'm there. We'll see. Anyway, I have talked long enough. You're probably tired of hearing this stupid fan. I need to get a drink of water. I think maybe next weekend I will film a video of things I've made since last year. I know I showed you 2 of them here, but that was mostly because I bought that yarn during that time. Anyway, so maybe I'll also do a yarn haul, maybe, of what I have bought since my English trip. Yeah. Anyway, if you have tips on what to do in London or Paris, fun things or shops to visit, let me know. Definitely let me know, because I'm in planning mode and I'm hyped up for DFW. Like, it's the funnest girls' weekend. We all rent a few hotel rooms and hang out and go buy yarn and hang out and knit, and it's a great time. Anyway, I'm very excited for that and for vacation again and to go to Paris finally. Anyway, that's all I have today. So take care of yourselves. Yeah, make sure you take breaks and do things for you and do things that make you happy. Anyway, bye.